Arsenal. As always, our fan pundits, not our fun pundits, our fan pundits have been there every step of the way.
Why don't you just say fundits?
This year, Arsenal can finish anywhere from 6th to 1st in this league. It's that competitive.
Absolutely buzzing. That was perfect. The best defensive performance I've seen from an Arsenal team.
Top of the league as it stands, and let's just hope we can maintain that and stay there till May. Outside Old Trafford, after somehow getting a point, we were gutless. It just did not work today. 3-1 to the Arsenal against Stoke. You can't complain with that scoreline. We're a bit resilient now. I think we've changed. Appalling. Absolutely appalling. That first half was unforgivable. What we've seen out there tonight tells you exactly why we're not going to be champions. A very poor performance and result for Arsenal at Stamford Bridge today, and our title race is now well and truly over. Arsene Wenger, that conversation will come up again. Will he sign a new contract? This is going to be a very divisive one.
Wenger has now become a serial loser. Wenger out, Wenger out.
Sometimes it gets to the point where things feel a bit stale and the players don't seem to be behind him.
Whatever happens with Arsene Wenger, though, he deserves to leave with respect. Another defeat for Arsenal, and we're getting too used to this. They were playing for their manager, and it was clear to me today that our boys weren't. Something needs to change. No fight, no quality, no heart, no desire, and really the players didn't understand what that game meant. And as bad of a season as Arsenal have had, we've got an FA Cup final to look forward to, so hopefully we can end it with a trophy. Fingers crossed.
Well, the fans obviously are looking to end the season with a trophy. Every single year, Arsene Wenger has made it into the top 4, qualified for the Champions League, and it kind of feels like the hierarchy of the club, and I know you've got plenty of passion about this, the hierarchy of the club seem to think top 4 is enough. So if it's not going to be top 4 this year, even if they win the FA Cup, it's not going to put them into the Champions League. If it's not top 4 this year, should that be it for Arsene Wenger?
Well, yeah, but I don't think it's that simple, just Arsene Wenger. I think you can't just take Arsene Wenger out of the equation and think it's going to change. There's things that's going on upstairs that lead down to Arsenal. For a start, there's no one, even now to this point where I'd say Arsenal are at crisis point, not going to finish in the top 4 by the looks of it right now, and the FA Cup final against Chelsea, who are flying. So it could work out to be quite a nightmare of a season in the end. And and the fans are focusing on Wenger. They've got to focus on what is being said upstairs. Why isn't no one, Kroenke, his son, Gazette, saying something? What is going on with the future of Arsenal Football Club? Because at the moment, it looks like it's spiralling.
I understand all that, but Arsene Wenger is the manager of the club. Arsene Wenger, you might want to have more money to spend, is given the money to spend. He makes the decision on players and on tactics and on approach, and he makes the decision on whether he announces his future or not. He's in control of that football club, and if it's not going well enough, he has to take a large portion of the criticism.
Well, absolutely. I think there's been too many frailties at Arsenal this season. I think they've lost heavily at certain times, which we've not seen an Arsenal team do sort of in the last 3 or 4 years. I think the 10-2 defeat against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, I think the inability to go and win real big football matches. Now, I know they turned in a great performance in the semi-final of the FA Cup, but I just feel, personally, I think he's taken Arsenal as far as he can. I would like to see a change. That hurts me to say that, but I genuinely feel it needs freshened up. It needs another manager to come in and to be allowed the money that is there to go and spend and to make Arsenal that little bit stronger. Because I feel Arsenal, as this group of players, I don't feel they're strong enough to go and win the league anyway. I don't think they've got a strong enough group as the other challenges have got in terms of the quality, right? They've got several good players, of course. But I just feel, will he go and spend that money if he's given it in the summer? Why isn't he in for Griezmann? I'll tell you why.
He won't get Griezmann.
I'll tell you why, right?
Won't get him.
He'll either go to Chelsea, Man City or Man United. I'll tell you why. Because he's 85 million in the market and he's £260,000 a week.
And they wouldn't pay it.
Yeah, but even if that's the case, you've got to look at it. Why would Griezmann come to Arsenal over any of those other teams? He's in the current climate, whether it's Arsene's fault, whether it's the people above him. Arsenal is not your first destination if you are Antoine Griezmann.
No,
if you are Kylian Mbappé.
He's got to be seen to be going.
That is what Arsenal. The problem is right now.
He's got to be seen to be going into the top players, to go in for the top players.
It's not realistic that Arsenal would get them, though, John. So it doesn't make sense to me. There's so much more to be done
But
before we can go into and get
But
those players.
why didn't he get Suarez over the line? Why didn't he get Higuain over
That's
the line?
people like Dick Law.
Why wasn't he in for Kante?
You get the
when he
recruitment.
left?
Like you talk about those people, Johnny, and I know what you're saying. But people like Dick Law, I'm hearing that Dick Law is probably going to leave at the end of the season, and rightly so. You know, I'm hearing things like he was the one with the Suarez. He was the one who I'm hearing that, you know, we meant to sign Ozil. He missed the plane. He missed the plane to get him, for Christ's sake. This is somebody who's trying to bring in recruitment to make the club better. That's the incompetence that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
You know, how can 40 million and a pound for Suarez, who went to Barcelona for 75 million and made Barcelona better? How's that get through the different levels of management? For that to actually come out into the public domain? There's massive problems at Arsenal at the moment.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that it's the inability to get these top players over the line. I'm not talking about this summer with Griezmann, but there's been several players that we've just mentioned. You know, why isn't he in for the top defenders in the world? Why doesn't he? Because there's a wage structure, and he doesn't want anarchy in the dressing room. Say, for instance, you bring a player in, right, for on £200,000 a week. Aaron Ramsey's agent knocks on Wenger's door. He says, "Hold on a minute, Mr. Wenger. You turned 35, 40 million pound down from Barcelona for my player, Aaron Ramsey, several seasons ago. If he's going on to 200 grand a week, then why isn't my player on 200 grand a week?"
You say that, Johnny.
It's anarchy. That's
Johnny.
why they don't want to smash the wage
You
band.
say that, Johnny, but we just spoke about Spurs. There's Arsenal players who are on double the money that Spurs players are on.
Yeah,
Look
but
how
not
Spurs are
on the
performing.
big earners, what the other top class world players are. No, I think Sanchez is on the most, isn't he?
Yeah, 180
That doesn't
somewhere,
come
yeah.
anywhere near what
But
the
I
other
think
top
what
players
Ian's
are.
trying to say, though, is with the players they've got, it should still be better than it is at the moment. I'm interested to know, when you play Arsenal now, do you still have that fear factor about playing them that maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago you would have had?
I don't think there's the fear factor. I think with Arsenal, you can catch them on a day. They're quite not a nice team to play against, but they'll give you the opportunity to play football, and I think they'll look to just try and beat you playing football. You know, whereas other teams maybe can mix it up a little bit more at the top. You know, like your Chelseas and your Liverpools can press high, and with Arsenal it seems a little bit more like you have the ball, but we'll beat you because.
What about Tottenham? How do you with Tottenham? Tottenham the same. How they've changed? Is there a change?
I think for me, Tottenham the hardest team to play against. They're very athletic, press from the front, technical players all over the pitch. You know, you look at Danny Rose and Kyle Walker so far. The lads in the middle there, you've got so much quality in there, but they're so quick when they lose the ball. You get it, and they're onto you bang straight away, and they're such a hard team to play against. Whereas maybe Arsenal can.
What would you say as the captain to your players when you're playing Arsenal in the build-up to the game as you come out of the dressing room? What's your sort of overriding message when you take on an Arsene Wenger team? Without swearing.
I mean,
It's probably have a go. Get right into it.
It's have a go. It is have a go. It's press them high. They'll give you an opportunity. I think they're a team that like to play out. They won't, like I say, they won't mix it really. They won't maybe go back to front if you press them high, and you will get the opportunity to take the ball off them. And
Too nice. They're too nice.
it can. I don't want to criticise Arsenal because
You're still playing.
yeah, I'm still playing. So, and
You might get a phone call
Someone
from,
smash into it.
Arsene Wenger.
But there's difference in styles of play, and different things. And,
Totally. You're saying it exactly.
And by the
right,
way,
Lee.
we completely appreciate when you're a current player, it is difficult to sit here and have a conversation about other football clubs completely. Just talking about signings, success or failure, you might not want to answer these. Success or failure, Xhaka.
Jury for me. I think that he's definitely got ability, but the jury's still out for me with him.
What they pay for him?
28 or something.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't know,
sure.
something like that.
I'm not sure.
It's a lot of money.
Okay, 3 times what Spurs paid for Wanyama. Perez.
I'd like to have seen him play more. He seems like he's got something for me. I'd love to have seen him. I like him a lot.
17 million, not played enough. I agree, you're right. Yeah, not
I'd love
seen
to have
enough
seen
of
him
it.
play more.
Why buy him and not play him?
Mustafi a success?
But jury again. I think that I've watched him and defensively makes too many mistakes.
I like Mustafi. I think he's all right. I think he's good.
Rob Holding?
I love him. For 2 million from Bolton.
So we've spoken there of £85 million worth of football player. The one that's impressed you the most is the man who cost £2 million from Bolton. So it's not a case of spending money. It's are they spending money in the right way on the right people?
That's a good point. It's a good question because for me, what I've seen of Rob Holding in a few games, he deserves a chance because I think that the composure of him and the way he plays, watching him in a massive game against Manchester City in the semi-finals, he can start that game and then he can't start the game in the North London derby. You know what I mean? I think he's more assured than Gabriel, and I feel like he's more assured for me than Mustafi. If it was my opinion, I'd Rob Holding.
And finally, Matt says, isn't the manager the key? Have Pochettino working with Ozil, and I suspect you'd have a different animal, or he'd be out the door.
It's a good shout.
Possibly. I think Pochettino is a top-class manager. Like I said earlier on, I think Spurs are a magnificent side with a great squad. But I still think it's not going to get easier for Spurs. It's going to get harder. They've got to keep improving.
Yeah, but you see, Pochettino, look at Kyle Walker. Like you mentioned him, unbelievable, flying. Danny was flying. For some reason, they're not getting on. Bang, out the team. That doesn't happen at Arsenal. That just don't happen.
Okay, thanks for all that. Fascinating. James Harding says Leon is speaking so well on Premier League tonight when they let him speak. A credit to the club and the city, as always. An absolute colossus on the pitch. This is easy, man. You just sit there and you listen to some Arsenal chat. But we'll be speaking to you a lot in the final part, because in the final part, we're going to be asking, where will your club be in 12 months' time? Get thinking about that, all three of you, and we'll see you in a couple of moments for the final part of the... What have you read?
It doesn't say when they let you speak. You like... It's mugging me and you up.
Go. Right, this is my iPad. Right. Join us in a minute for the final part of the final Premier League tonight of the season. See you in a second.
You killed it.